Welcome and good afternoon. This is Commish Orr, and today we have a payoff pitch matchup in my payoff pitch solo league. And I guess a little bit more information. I've been testing the Game Pulse payoff pitch PC game lately, for the last few months, I guess, heavily, and I've posted some videos. Check those out if you'd like. Today I will not be using that actually. I'm going to be going old school and using my normal method because I'm still working on my solo league here. And so I'm continuing with that today. But again, if you're interested in the Payoff Pitch PC game, check those videos out. I have a playlist that you can check those out, the latest alpha builds and such. And I'll be doing another video soon on the next alpha build of that game as well. But today, I'm going to be playing a game between Boston and Detroit in my solo league. And by the way, just a little bit of background, this league is a Hall of Fame league. So 3 of the teams in the American and 3 National League teams are made up of Hall of Famers. And the 4th team is made up of players not in the Hall of Fame. And so today, Detroit is a non-Hall of Fame American League team, and Boston is a Hall of Fame American League team. If we look at the standings here, we have 11 more games to play. I play a third of a season, 54 games, and so we can see that Boston has a commanding lead in the American League. They have a 6-game lead over New York, and Oakland actually is 1 game away from elimination already because there's only 11 more games left to play. So, barring something miraculous, Oakland is not going to make the World Series. Boston, on the other hand, is in the driver's seat here. Detroit actually won the World Series last season in this league, but this season they've had a little bit worse luck, and they're 9 games back. So that just kind of gives you an idea of where we're at here with this game. By the way, head over to baseballmaelstrom.com if you want to follow the action. You can check out this and my other projects. The current project I have going other than my Payoff Pitch League is a season ticket baseball best of the decades, the 1960s tournament. So check that out as well. But today I have my traditional setup here that we're going to use to play out this game. And so let's take a look at the starting lineups for today's game. First of all, for the Detroit Rockets, leading off, playing center field, will be Kenny Lofton. Shoeless Joe Jackson batting second and right field. Alex Rodriguez at shortstop batting third. Miguel Cabrera will be batting fourth and playing third base. Rafael Palmeiro is going to be the first baseman, batting fifth. DHing today is Mark McGuire, batting sixth. Bobby Veach will be batting seventh and playing left field. Lou Whitaker batting eighth at second base. And Bill Freehan is catching today and batting ninth. Pitching today for Detroit will be Brett Saberhagen. Now let's take a look at the home Boston Splinters. Leading off for Boston will be Ichiro Suzuki, playing right field. Batting second will be Nellie Fox at second base. George Brett will be playing third base and batting third. Frank Thomas in the cleanup spot at first base. Ted Williams in left field, batting fifth. Wade Boggs, actually, not Mule. Mule Settles is resting today. So Wade Boggs will be in the number 6 spot and DHing today for Boston. Tris Speaker in center field, batting 7th. Alan Trammell in shortstop, batting 8th. And finally, we have Carlton Fisk batting 9th and catching for Boston. And on the mound for Boston is Jim Palmer. This is a combination of the best, I tried to pick the best, quote-unquote, best season card for each of these players. This was before the Legends and Bust sets came out. So most of them are from actual individual seasons, but Legends and Busts in cases where a player didn't have a the greatest season carded. I've used Legends and Busts in those cases, so you may see those. And for players that didn't have a season card like Shoeless Joe Jackson, I'm using Legends and Busts for them as well. Now, the offense in the American League is quite a bit higher than the National League, so these games tend to be higher scoring. But we'll see how that pans out here in this game. So, with all that said, we are ready to get started. By the way, I use a little pregame sheet if you're wondering, why did you decide to sit Mule Settles? Well, I use a little pregame event, random roll here, to determine, and as you see, potential rest required for the home team. First base, 21 was rolled, and Mule Settles has a normal normal injury rating. So 1 to 40, he rests, and I rolled a 21, so he's resting today. There was no injury because of the 10, and the 96 here means that the center fielder didn't have to be rested. All right, so we're ready to go here, folks, as Kenny Lofton steps in against Jim Palmer. Kenny Lofton hit .335, has one of the best batting averages in the league. And the first pitch is a patient 42, and right away there's a base hit, a leadoff single for Kenny Lofton. Taking a look at his steal, he has an 8 jump rating, so he's going to get a jump a lot of the time, but a 10 means he does not in this case, so he stays put. Which brings up Shoeless Joe Jackson. Shoeless Joe joined the league fairly recently. He's hitting .343, though, in his limited time so far. And that's an in-play 28, and he will get a base hit here. So I look at this die to determine where the hit went, and that's to center field. And I have a little homebrew chart to determine runner advancement first to third center field. In play is an 8+, and it is not an 8+ for running for... Oh, no, it is. Kenny Lofton does have an 8 running, so he will advance to third base on that base hit. So right away, Jim Palmer in some trouble here with runners on the corners and no outs in the first inning. And Shoeless Joe does not get a good jump here, so that brings up Alex Rodriguez. Infield playing straight up, and this is not going to be good as a ballpark 0-1 is a wheelhouse, but ooh, he lucks out with a little higher roll. So no home run for Alex Rodriguez, but he's going to get a base hit. A wheelhouse single here, and that is going to score the first run as Palmer still looking for that first out. Runners on the corner still, and Miguel Cabrera steps in. And that's another patient. And that's going to be another base hit. And that's a single to right field this time. But patient means it's not an automatic advance to third, and this 9 die roll means that Alex Rodriguez stays put at second base. So we have runners at first and second. As Detroit has a 2-0 lead here in the first inning, Palmer is still struggling to get that first out. Brings up Rafael Palmeiro, and that's an in-play 3, and he's not going to get it here as that's a double to left. And in-play double to left, double scoring from first to left field, in-play 8 or more, so he stays put. And now we have runners at second and third, and a 3-0 lead for Detroit. And brings up Mark McGwire, and they're playing straight up. They just need outs here. Patient. He has rolled nothing in the tough section, which is crazy. But here, he gets a little lucky as McGwire, patient 62 for McGwire, is going to be a fly out to right. And now, Cabrera's on third base. He only has a 6-run rating. Right fielder is Ichiro Suzuki. So, Ichiro's arm is, maybe should be better, but it's only a 7. But a 6... fly out, and actually it'll be a sac fly. So sac fly here to right field. That's going to score another run, and just like that, Detroit takes a 4-0 lead here in the first inning. But again, American League games can be high scoring, so don't count Boston out of this yet. That brings up Bobby Veach. Finally, we get a tough result. Tough 67, and that's going to be a ground out to short. And Palmeiro will stay put at second base. We now have 2 down, and Lou Whitaker steps in. Detroit hoping to add to their lead, but that's going to be a tough out, and that's a grounder to first. Frank Thomas will take it to the bag himself and get out of this inning finally after 5 straight base hits to start this game. Palmer going back to the dugout, shaking his head. But what can you do? Saberhagen hopes to not let things get away on the other side here, and he will face Ichiro Suzuki to start things off here in the first inning. In play 63, and Ichiro flies this one to left. Veach will be under it. 1 down. By the way, Ichiro leads the league with a .362 batting average. Nellie Fox, who's also hitting .330. A lot of good averages here, and that's an in-play 75. And this time, that's a fly out to center. Lofton will get to this one. And we have 2 down, which brings up George Brett. Brett hitting .386, though. He's been injured a little bit. Tough 24, and that's going to be a base hit. He fights this one off for a base hit and gives them Boston, a little bit of hope here with 2 down in the first inning. He's not going to go anywhere, and that brings up Frank Thomas. Thomas hitting .282 with 13 homers. He's close to the lead in homers in the American League, and that's going to be an in-play 24, and this is another base hit. A single to center with 2 outs. I believe that will advance him. Runner first to third, center 2 outs, 7 or above, and he does have a 7 or above, so we now have runners on the corners, and Boston threatening here in the first inning. Ted Williams steps in. And patient 97. Ooh, normally Williams loves to walk, but in this case, he doesn't. He goes ahead in the count, but takes a swing, and he's going to fly out to right here, and that will end the inning. So scoreless inning for Boston. Way to the top of the second. Palmer will get a second chance here at this Detroit lineup, starting with Bill Freehan here in the leading things off. Ballpark, and that is going to be long gone and out of here. A leadoff homer here in the second inning, which makes it 5-0 Detroit. Gets them back to the top of the lineup. Palmer's struggles continue. In play 65. Lofton will ground this one to third. Brett over to Thomas. 1 down. Shoeless Joe steps in. That's another in play. This time it's in the gap for a double. Shoeless Joe into second, standing up. Palmer has not had a good run here as we keep hitting the patients and the in plays in the ballparks and other things. Alex Rodriguez steps in, and there's another patient, and this time he's hit. He hits him. Palmer's frustration a little bit, and Alex Rodriguez will take first base. First and second now with 1 out. Miguel Cabrera steps in, and once again, an in play, but that's too high for it to be anything as he pops this one up on the infield, and Nellie Fox will be under it for out number 2. Palmeiro doubled, had an RBI double in the first inning. This time it's a wheelhouse, and this double is going to score them all. Everybody scores. And just like that, Detroit is up 7-0 here in the second inning. Wow. They are totally battering Palmer here. Palmer trying to stay with it here. Mark McGuire steps in, and that's going to be a walk. Palmer not getting any luck with the dice today, folks. Runners on first and second. 2 down, Bobby Veach. There's a tough 41, and that will get out of the inning as this Palmer will field this one and flip to Thomas at first for out number 3. All right, Saberhagen has a good cushion here as we head to the bottom of the second. And he will deal against Wade Boggs. Tough 51. And Boggs grounds this one to first. Palmeiro takes it to the bag himself. Actually, no, he'll flip to the pitcher, actually, since the last digit was a 1. And that's 1 down. Tris Speaker's only hitting 244. And that's going to be a tough 47. Speaker grounds this one to third. Cabrera over to first for out number 2. Alan Trammell steps in. Trammell only hitting 255. And he draws a 2-out walk here. So Saberhagen not able to close out the inning too well here, but runner on first, Carlton Fisk steps in, and that's an in-play 90, and that should do it. As Rodriguez has to dive for this one. He's up with it and over to first, though. He'll beat Fisk with the throw, and that will be the end of the second inning. Palmer is actually back out there for inning 3, though there's a lot of activity in the bullpen, and he'll be on a short leash here in the third inning. He'll face Lou Whitaker to start things off here. Ballpark. And 48 is an in-play 46, and that's just beyond the range here as Whitaker pops this one up to short. 1 down as Trammell hauls that one in, his real-life counterpart. Bill Freehan, and that's a patient 80, and Freehan will fly this one to center. Speaker will make a running catch at this one, and that's 2 down. 2 quick outs here in the third inning. Palmer hoping for a 1-2-3 inning here. Give him some more life in this game. Defense check. Second base error, that's Nellie Fox, and he is a 4, but a 29 will be a 1 base error here, and not able to get out of the inning unscathed, though not his fault, as Fox commits an error here in the third inning. Lofton, an 8, and an 8, and a 35. 8 and an 8 and a 35 means he is going to make the attempt at a steal, and that's a B1. Fisk has a great arm, but 85 is probably going to be a stolen base. B1 85, and that is a stolen base. So not willing to rest with a 7-run lead. Lofton steals second here with 2 down. Shoeless Joe, and that's another in play, and that's going to be a base hit. A single to left will score Lofton. That's an unearned run, but a run nonetheless. Detroit now up 8-0 here in the third inning. Alex Rodriguez, tough out finally, and he strikes him out. So Palmer limits the damage. And again, wasn't his fault. We head to the bottom of the third. Saberhagen dealing to Ichiro to lead things off. In play 76. And Ichiro grounds this one to short. A-Rod over to first for out number 1. So far, Saberhagen's been getting the rolls, and Palmer has not been getting the rolls. Tough 48. Fox lines this one, but A-Rod will catch it, makes the stab, and gets this one to route number 2. Brings up George Brett again, who singled in the first inning. Tough 91, and it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning here as Brett grounds this one to second. Whitaker over to first for out number 3. Once again, Palmer will be on a short leash here in the fourth, starting against Miguel Cabrera. That's finally another strikeout here for Palmer, back-to-back strikeouts, as Cabrera watches this one for strike 3. If it ends in an 8, 9, or 0, I always say it's a caught looking, by the way. Palmeiro. That's going to be another tough, and that's going to be another strikeout. Third straight strikeout here for Palmer. He's getting a little bit of a second wind here. I don't know if he had a first wind, but brings Big Mac. And that's going to be another strikeout. 4 straight strikeouts here for Palmer. Struck out the side here in the 4th. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Detroit still up with an 8-0 lead. Saberhagen will start against Thomas here in the 4th inning. Tough 68. And the Big Hurt grounds this one to second. Whitaker over to first. 1 down. Ted Williams. Williams hitting 298. So a little bit lower than what you'd expect. Tough 30, and he'll get a base hit here, though. He doesn't strike out very often. And he fights that one off behind in the count for a single. That brings up Wade Boggs. That's in play 59. Probably an out. In play 59, it is, this is a grounded to third, and because it's an 11, Cabrera's only play is to first. Williams will advance on the play as Cabrera makes a little bit of a stop to his right. Brings up Tris Speaker. 2 down, runner in scoring position, though. Tough 70, and he gets out of this one as Speaker flies this one to center. Lofton under it. 4 scoreless innings for Saberhagen here. Palmer comes out for the 5th. Didn't think he'd still be in this one, but he's shown some life here in the last few innings. Bobby Veach. Defense check. Third base error. Brett is a 3, and that's going to be another error. So Brett bobbles this one. And so Veach gets on here, and a 4-8-18. He's probably going to steal here, try to steal here. 4-8-18. Sure enough, he does. He's a D. D143 is not good, though. He's probably going to be caught. D1. Oh, yeah. And Fisk throws him out easily as Detroit taking up some aggression on the base paths here. So Palmer gets a little bit of an assist there after that error. Whitaker will step in, and that's in play 50. This one's popped up near the first base line. Thomas over into foul territory, and he'll haul that one in for out number 2. Freehan, who had that home run in the 2nd inning to lead off the 2nd, will not get a home run this time, as that's tough out. Tough out means if it's not a strikeout, it's going to be an out anyway, and this one's also popped up near the first base line. Thomas under this one, another 1-2-3 inning for Palmer. We get to the bottom of the 5th. Detroit still up 8-0. Saberhagen facing off against Trammell. In play, 77, and Trammell flies this one to center. Lofton's gotten a little bit of action out there in center field, and he'll get to this one for the first out. Fisk in play 83, and another one. Almost in the same spot. 2 quick outs here in the 5th inning, but gets them back to the top of the order for Ichiro. In play 75, and once again, this time ground ball though. A-Rod will handle this one over to Palmeiro. And that's another 1-2-3 inning here for Saberhagen. Palmer will face Lofton here in the 6th. In play 90, and that's a ground ball to second. 1 down. Shoeless Joe, tough out 28. And so, even though it's not a strikeout, it will be a pop-up on the infield. And Fox will haul this one in for out number 2. Alex Rodriguez. And that's going to be another tough 72, and another 1-2-3 inning here for Palmer, as Rodriguez flies this one to Tris Speaker in center field. That will end the inning. Now, one might wonder, because Palmer is getting blown up, if you will, why I haven't switched the fatigued pitcher card, which by the rules I should. However, what I found is, especially in the American League, these games are so high scoring that, and when I started the league, I only had 9 pitchers on the pitching staff. So I had a shortage of pitchers, and the games were very high scoring. So I found that if I used the rules as written, I'd burn through the pitchers quite quickly. So instead of what I've done is, even if a pitcher's getting blown up, he stays out there for the most part until he gets within a couple innings of this fatigue. And then I'm going to pull him out regardless. Or if he's given up 10 or 12 runs, then I'll probably pull him out earlier than that. But I don't go strictly based on those, just because there's just so much offense in the American League that I'd run out of pitching if I tried to do that the way it's written. So one little break from the rules of the game there that I do. We head to the bottom of the 6th here as Saberhagen faces off against Nellie Fox to lead things off. Tough 34, and that's just beyond the range here of a base hit for Fox as he pops this one up near the first base line. And Palmero hauls it in for out number 1. George Brett. Another tough 74. And Brett flies this one to center. Lofton under it. Lofton getting a lot of action here in the last couple innings. Brings up Frank Thomas. In play 32, and finally they get a base hit here. I say finally. They did have a base hit a couple innings ago, but those base hits have been few and far between for Boston in this game. But they'll take it. Thomas now 2 for 3 in this game. Brings up Ted Williams. Still a dangerous lineup here, as we see here in play, and that's going to be a double in the gap with 2 outs. That will score Frank Thomas. Double, 2 outs, yeah, 7 or higher pretty much anywhere. And so Boston finally gets their first run of the game in the bottom of the 6th. So Williams also 2 for 3. And now we have Wade Boggs here with 2 down and 1 on. Runner in scoring position still. In play 84, and that's not going to do it as he flies this one to center. Lofton on the run, and he'll get that one for out number 3. Boston finally gets their first run, though. Finally gets that first run. And this will be a last inning for Palmer, either way. And if he gets into trouble, I'll pull him early. So he'll face Miguel Cabrera to lead things off here in the 7th. In play 25, and there's a base hit, so that's probably going to do it. Probably going to do it here. Let's take a look at Boston. Palmer lasts just 6 innings. Would have been shorter, actually. And let's bring in Walter Johnson. Yeah. I think we'll bring in Walter Johnson for some innings. Walter Johnson. All right, so Cabrera with the base hit. 2 for 4 in this game. Palmero is at the plate. He's 2 for 3 with a couple of doubles and 3 RBI. And he faces off against Johnson here. And a patient 55, that's going to be another double. And that's going to be another double. And Cabrera, since it's just no outs here, will hold up at third. So second and third already with no outs. Mark McGuire steps in, and that's going to be some dangerous territory, as that's the ballpark on Johnson's card. And that's going to be a wheelhouse 28, and McGuire gets all of that one. Takes it deep. 3-run homer here in the 7th. Detroit with an 11-1 lead now. No doubt about that one. McGuire, by the way, only that's his 10th homer of the season. Respectable. Respectable. Bobby Veach. He strikes him out. It's a tough 0-1. Veach does not strike out a ton, but that'll do it. Lou Whitaker. Tough 76. Johnson getting a couple good rolls here as Whitaker grounds this one to Trammell over to first. And he throws his teammate out here for out number 2, his real-life teammate. In play 74, Freehand. That will end the inning as this one's another fly ball to Lofton in center. He's been gobbling them up out there. So 3 straight outs here, but not before some more damage done by the Big Mac. 3-run homer puts Detroit up with a commanding 11-1 lead. Saberhagen facing off against the bottom of the order, but here with a Hall of Fame team, there's no real weak spot in the lineup. Patient 43 as, oh no, hold up, Tris Speaker. Patient 43, and Speaker will draw a leadoff walk. Speaker didn't really try to steal many bases, which is surprising. A lot of those old-timey guys you would think would, but Alan Trammell. That's another patient, but this time it's going to be too high for it to be anything, as this is a grounder to short, and that, my friends, is going to be a double play. Pitcher has a deep double play rating of 6. Trammell has a double play rating of 6. We rolled a 5. 6-4-3. Rodriguez to Whitaker to Palmeiro. Wipes out that base runner. 2 down, nobody on for Fisk, and that's going to be a strikeout here to end the 7th inning. By the way, that is the first strikeout for Saberhagen. The first strikeout in this game for Saberhagen, which is also a little surprising, but they'll take it as that gets them out of the inning. I missed the 7th inning stretch, folks. Sorry about that. We head to the 8th inning, though. Johnson's still out there for the top of the Detroit lineup, starting with Kenny Lofton. In play 91, that's going to be too high, and Lofton grounds this one to second. Fox over to first. Lofton 1 for 5 today, which is dropping his average a little bit. Brings up Shoeless Joe. He's 3 for 4. 3 for 4. I don't think he's a batting qualifier yet, but his 365 average would be up there. And that's going to be another one. Base hit here for Shoeless Joe as an in-play 20 is going to be a single. And Alex Rodriguez, who is 1 for 3. He did get hit by a pitch. That's another in-play, and this time an 11. That's a base hit. Single to left. In play, first to third, left. In play 9 or above, and it's not. It's an 8. Or has an 8. Left, 7, 8. I rolled a 7, which is under his run rating. So he's going to try it. He's going to try to take third on it. So I'm going to roll 2 of the D6. We're going to look at these 2 dice here. And it's got to be below 7. It is not. So that gamble is not going to pay off, as 9 is above Jackson's run and Williams' arm rating. And so Boston gets a little bit of a bonus here, as Rodriguez will single. Shoeless Joe trying to be aggressive on the base paths, and he gets gunned down at third base. Detroit, even having an 11-1 lead, has shown some aggression on the base paths. Breaking some unwritten rules here, probably. But Boston will take it. There's now 2 down and runner on first. And Miguel Cabrera steps in. Tough 88. This will get them out of the inning as Cabrera grounds this one to short, Trammell over to first. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Detroit still with an 11-1 lead. Saberhagen has been cruising so far. He'll face the top of the Boston order, starting with Ichiro, looking for his first hit in this game. Tough 24, and he gets it. Ichiro, not one to strike out very often. He slaps this one into right field. And so he'll be in there with a base hit. Nellie Fox. See if they can get something going. Tough 19. And that'll be another tough base hit. To center. -2. Ichiro's effective speed is a 6. He stays put. So first and second. Boston threatening here in the 8th inning. Little by little, they hope. George Brett in play 32. That's going to be another base hit. This time a single to left. And let's see. Second to home. Single to left. In play 7 or above. So Ichiro will score on the play, and Fox will hold at second base. With no outs, they're not going to try to advance to third here. So Boston getting something going here in the 8th. There is activity now in the Detroit bullpen as Frank Thomas steps in. And the fun continues here for Saberhagen. And that's going to be a double into the gap. In play, center field. Double first to home, center field, in play 7 or above. That is going to score both runners. And Frank Thomas is 3 for 4 now. And just like that, the lead is cut to 11-4. 11-4 lead now. Now, Saberhagen has a fatigue of 9, so he wouldn't actually be fatigued yet. But with an abundance of bullpen, he'll face one more batter, Ted Williams. Probably a mistake, but what are you going to do? And it is. Look at that ballpark. Well, 78 means it's in play, but 25 means it's still going to be a base hit. And that is going to score Thomas. And now it's 11-5 as Boston scores 4 runs here in the bottom of the 8th. And with the 5th straight base hit, that is going to be it for Saberhagen. And we will bring in Louis Tiant, I believe. We will. I don't believe we will. So Tiant coming in here to relieve Saberhagen, who pitched 7 great innings before faltering here in the 8th. He'll face Wade Boggs. Still looking for their first out here in the 8th inning. Tough 38. Ooh, very close, folks. Very close, but instead Boggs pops this one up. And Rodriguez will haul it in for out number 1. Detroit, they don't want to let this one get out of hand. Tiant facing off against Speaker here. In play, 49, and that's going to be too high to be anything good. Ooh, and that's going to be ground out to third, a DP of 5, and we rolled a 4. That's going to get out of the inning here. Around the horn double play, Cabrera to Whitaker to Palmeiro. 5-4-3 double play gets them out of the inning. And so Tiant does his job and ends the rally hopes. We want to leave Johnson in here to pitch the 9th. He's already pitched 2 innings. I think we'll bring him out. So Johnson pitches 2 innings. And we'll bring in, what do we have? A lefty, a couple of lefties. So let's bring in Jim Cott. He's actually pitched pretty well this season in relief. Just like that. And he'll face off against Palmeiro, McGuire, and Veach here in the ninth. Starting with Palmeiro. In play 67, and he's a lefty, so we're looking over here now. 67, and Palmeiro flies this one to left. Williams under it. One down. Big Mac. 1 for 3 with a big home run. Last at bat. In play 88. And this one will be a grounder to short. Trammell over to first for out number 2. Bobby Veach. Another lefty. Lefty on lefty action here. Tough 47. And look at that. 47, the very last base hit here, as Veach gets a base hit here in the ninth. Lou Whitaker. Tough 28. And that's going to be another base hit. Single to center. Veach has no speed, folks. He has a 5 speed, which became a 3 with that tough. Bill Freehan. At this point, Jim Cott's just trying to get out of this. Tough 58. That'll do it. That'll do it. Grounder to third, and Brett will be will send this one to first base and mercifully end the ninth inning. Tiant stays in here to face Trammell. Might as well. Tough 49. Tough 49. And Trammell grounds this one to first. Palmeiro takes it to the bag himself. One down. Fisk is 0 for 3. But he'll stay in there, take a swing. And this is a grounder to short. Rodriguez fields this one cleanly. Tiant making quick work here of Boston. Ichiro, 2 down now. Last hope. Tough 54, and that's going to end it, folks. As this one, Ichiro grounds this one to first, and Palmeiro takes the bag himself. And that is the ball game. That is the ball game. Detroit, 11 runs on 16 hits and no errors. Saberhagen gets the win. Palmer gets the loss. Which is too bad, actually, because Palmer, after the second inning, pitched, 4 innings and only allowed a hit in those 4 innings. Or 4, I guess he pitched 2. He allowed this second hit here, too. It's too bad. Palmer just didn't have it today. Struggled there in the beginning. Boston, 5 runs on 10 hits. 2 errors committed. And if we take a look at the scoring here, I don't know. Palmeiro, 3 for 5 with 3 doubles and 3 RBI. He probably gets player of the game honors here. McGuire did have 1 hit, that big home run, but that's all he had. Shoeless Joe, though, 4 for 5, but only 1 RBI. So I don't know. I think I give it to Palmeiro. Would have given it to Saberhagen had he not struggled there in the 8th. He was pitching well. 1 run. Just 1 run through the first 7 innings. But that's where things stand, folks. So Boston falls to Detroit. And there's a little glimmer of hope here. As Boston was kind of running away with things. I mean, there's only now 10 games left for Boston. And New York will now have they'll have a 5.5 game lead over New York with 10 to play. So it's still Boston's to lose. Still Boston's to lose, but they lost today. So that's one step. It's one step in the right direction for the rest of the league. All right, folks, that's where we will end things. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Again, if you're interested in Game Pulse, the new PC version of Payoff Pitch coming soon, close to opening day. Check out my videos on that. I'll also have another testing video here. I didn't have a lot of time to test this weekend, and I wanted to continue this league, so I decided to play this one on stream today, so you could see that. But thanks so much for watching. Head over to baseballmaelstrom.com if you want to follow the action. And until next time, have a great evening.